All right, what's up, guys? So after trading for about 6 years now, I've learned a ton about supply and demand. For trading full-time for the past 2 years, I really have it down. And in this video, I want to break down 3 secrets I learned about supply and demand that really helped me to make a lot of money, okay, and completely changed the way of how I look at supply and demand and how I trade it, all right? And so I'm going to hop in the chart, show you guys a few different examples of what I'm talking about. The first one, just go ahead and look at this. If we take a look right here, we can just go ahead and dive in. This supply zone right here didn't work. This demand zone didn't work. And this supply zone did work. And so I'm going to show you a few different secrets of exactly how to know why these didn't work, how to know which ones will work, how to get in, how to use them for your actual trading so you can make money and become a full-time trader, okay? So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. Now, as you guys can see, I'm taking a look at a SPY chart, okay? You can see also in this area, the 3 different demand zones and supply zones that I pointed out, okay? So we have this one up here, which ended up working out. We have this one right here, which didn't end up working out. And then this demand zone as well, which didn't work out, okay? And what I want to do in this video is focus specifically on this demand zone here, because there's 3 different secrets I'm going to share with you that are literally going to change how you look at supply and demand, how you use it in your trading. All right, so let's go ahead, tap in, get excited. Let's just get right into it. Now, we have a beautiful demand zone right here, okay? We have a drop, a base, and a rally. So what is the first secret? What is the first thing that you want to look at when it comes to trading supply demand that's going to help you actually become successful with it, okay? Now, the first thing that I look at, the first secret, is that you need to actually look at the quality of the zone itself and how price took off from it, okay? And essentially what I mean by that, as we can see here, supply and demand at the end of the day is all based around speed. If you can have a fast move, there's going to be a demand zone there. And so we do have a relatively fast move, but the one thing I want to point out is that if we look, we had this drop, right? We had the low form and then the high, and we kind of had a mini demand zone form right above it as well. You can see we had a nice move up. We had another 30 minutes of a consolidation, right? We had a doji candle right here, and then we had the next, real demand up move higher, okay? And you can zoom in on a smaller time frame and really break it down. And this is basically the first secret, is you want to zoom in on a smaller time frame and just be able to look and say, okay, if we have a drop, base rally, is the rally that we have actually very fast with no pullbacks, or is there many kind of consolidations in between? You can kind of see with this move right here, we got that move down, and then we did have a little bit of a pullback here. And so the thing with supply and demand that you really need to pay attention to is that if you have a small pullbacks within, the actual move, that's not good. Okay, it doesn't prove that there's actually strong and real demand on there. Okay, it just means that there was a move higher. Okay, so we take a look, and if we're looking to get into a demand zone, price kind of has this little move down. Maybe we have another demand zone, another one form, and then another one form. Something that looks like this, that is not as strong as a move that just goes straight up, okay? So that's something that you really want to keep in mind when you're looking at supply and demand. You really want to focus on stocks and setups that have a straight move down and straight move up with almost no pullbacks. And the best way to do that is just by looking at the candles and really determining, is price, are there any wicks in the candles? Like, for example, this would be a good, actually, example of a supply zone, right? We had a nice gap down, and we had a nice move lower here with almost no wicks, right? A little bit of a wick there, but we just went right down the next candle, right? So a very fast and clear move down where we opened up and we just went straight down. No move pullbacks back, right? Even on 5 and a 15 minutes, just go straight down, straight down, straight down, okay? So being able to look at that as compared to, this price action right here, we have a little bit of pullback, we have another little bit of a pullback right here. Using that as your kind of guide to, is this actually a high quality supply or demand zone? It's going to help you stay away from types of zones like this, where you essentially don't want to trade them, okay? Because you really only want to trade zones that are the highest quality and ones that you know for sure are going to work, okay? So that's secret number 1, okay? Write that down, pause the video, take your notes, do what you got to do. Here's secret number 2, okay? Secret number 2 is a little bit different because it takes into account market structure and trend, okay? So if we take a look at this low here, this is very important concept you guys need to understand, okay? Now, when understanding market structure and trend and how everything like that works, it's a lot complicated, okay? I can't describe all of that in one video. And if you guys are interested in learning more about that, I made a free training in the link below of the description, so you can go ahead and check that out after this video. But in terms of learning supply demand and how to use it with market structure, the one thing that I'll look at is, was price able to take out supply? Okay, that's the question you need to ask yourself. So if we take a look at the chart here and I show you, price has this demand zone, price is moving up. Was it able to take out the most recent pivot high / supply zone? And so in this case, we're just drawing out kind of markets, right? We have a low, a high, a low, a high, a low, and a high. And if I extend that out, I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. This is the demand zone that we're looking at, right? This one right here. Oops, not that. Oops, not that. There we go. This demand zone is the one we're looking at here, right? Just like this. Now, what you want to look at was the high that was created from this demand zone, which would be this one right here or this one right here. Was it able to take out or get above previous supply / high, which would have been this high right here? The answer is no, okay? So price was not able to get above supply. We couldn't get above this high, which means that sellers are still in control, okay? Even though we have demand for them, even though we have buyers, they're not as strong as sellers, because if they were, they're stronger, they would be able to take price above them. But sellers defended this area, okay? They defended this high, and we couldn't get above it, which means this demand zone is not as high quality. So you want to be a little bit less attentive to actually getting into a zone like this or buying the pullback here if it's unable to take out that supply, because that's going to be really important in determining who's in control. Is it buyers? Is it sellers? And if you can really understand market structure and how and how markets move, through highs and lows and trend, that's going to help you out a ton. Okay, we can even take a look at this in a higher time frame, context. If I zoom out quite a bit on SPY, take a look at the daily chart, if I look at this trend real quick, price is currently in a downtrend, right? We have a low, we have a high. We have a lower low, we have a lower high. So when price is coming back down, and I take a look and we have this demand zone right here, I need to ask myself, was this demand, the high that was created from that demand, able to get rid or take out the high over here or take out the nearest supply zone, right? The answer is no. We couldn't even get, above this supply. We couldn't even touch it, let alone get above the high that was formed here. So if you can really break down stocks and keep it simple and just focus on what's the trend we're in right now, is it low, high, low, high, low, and wait and say, okay, if price can't get above that high, then I don't really want to get long at demand. That's going to help save you and become a master at supply demand to make sure you're not getting in those type of zones, right? Now, if price were to do something like this, get above this high, and then pull back to demand, then there's a much better chance of that demand zone actually holding, because it shows us that buyers are in control because they were stronger than the sellers. But in this case, the sellers held price. They weren't able to take price above it, which means they are still in control and that price can make a new low. Hence, you don't want to get into demand, okay? Now, I'm going to go back and show you secret number 3, okay? So I showed you the first two. Adding these in your strategy or in your trading is right away going to see you an immediate increase in your profits, in your trading. But this one is also really important, okay? Now, this third secret is essentially going to be the reaction at demand, okay? So again, if I show you this demand zone right here, just like that, you want to see how price reacts to demand, okay? You don't necessarily need to get in right as price comes down to demand, right? Set your stop at the lows, target, at supply. You don't necessarily need to trade that way. And one of the ways I like to trade as well really comes down to waiting for the reaction and playing based off that. And like I said, there's a million ways you can actually play the reaction and how I look at it and the other confirmations I use. A lot of that is broken down in the free training I have linked in the description. But for now, basically all you need to understand is that price at the end of the day, if it's going to bounce from demand, it's going to bounce. You're going to know that, and you're going to see that before it happens, right? So if I zoom in, right, for example, this is a 30-minute chart on SPY. And so when I look at the reaction, I always zoom in a few time frames. So on a 30-minute or an hourly demand, I'll zoom in on the 5-minute or the 1-minute chart, okay? And by doing this, when price comes down in its demand, we can really see, are there actual buyers here? what is the reaction like, right? And you just need to ask yourself these questions, right? Is price, is price bouncing at the top of demand? Is price going all the way down towards the bottom of demand, right? That's not going to be as strong as if we're bouncing right at the top. You need to ask yourself, how is price reacting in demand? Do we see more demand form coming out of it, right? Do we see another big demand zone, on a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart form when we come out of it? Does price start to see higher highs and higher lows? Are we starting to see a change in trend, right? Is price coming down, now seeing higher highs, higher lows, and look like this? And if the answer is no, then you may want to hold off and not get into this demand zone, right? That's a sign that's telling you price is probably going to break demand and you don't want to be in that trade, right? So if you're really able to break down and kind of understand, if we go back to 3 secrets to talk about number 1, how is the actual quality of the demand zone? Is it good? Is it bad? Next thing is going to be, was price able to take out supply? So the buyers down here, were they strong enough to take out supply? Is market structure aligned with supply and demand? And third secret is going to be, when price does get down to demand, are we actually seeing buyers present? Are buyers actually stepping in and taking price higher? And are we starting to see that change in trend where we get that higher high, that higher low, higher high, and higher low? Because that's what an uptrend is, right? And all this works vice versa as well with supply zones, okay? So really taking into account all 3 of these different supply and demand secrets is going to, trust me, 100% increase your supply and demand win rate as well as your risk reward. And so if you're able to look at these 3 things, add it into your trading, that's going to help make you a ton more money and see you a lot less losses as well, okay? And if you guys are more interested in learning about how I trade and my exact strategy, go ahead and click the first link in the description below. I have a free online training showing you guys basically how I trade. That's going to give you a lot of good setups and a lot to learn about how I actually trade, okay? So hopefully this made sense. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I want you to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below other videos I should make, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.